Don't forget to like, subscribe, and the bell, and give me a big thumbs up.
All right, today I'd like to go over something that's kind of cool. It's about not losing your stick. And most of you are probably going to laugh it off like it's no big deal, but actually it's a big deal. All right, so when I'm on tour, I tend to get clammy, especially when there are lights and if it's an outdoor gig and the sun's beating down on you, or if it's an indoor gig where sometimes light guys want to put lights on both sides of you, and then it tends to cook you. So you get pretty sweaty, and most drumsticks are made to where there's a small thin layer of urethane, and it makes the stick look pretty, but it doesn't help the performance. So what I like to do is I like to take the stick, and if you're playing with tip out, I flip it over, and then I will take it and put it on the hat, and I'll put some little ridges in it. And I'll turn the stick, and I'll keep turning it until it has these little ridges in it. And you may think that it's not that big of a deal, but when you start playing, it ends up being a real big deal. I also like to take a little piece of sandpaper and sand some of the urethane off, but then you take the stick and you flip it over and you just dig into the hat. Or you could take whatever, you can take something else that has an edge on it and just dig into it. You can take even a little knife or something, but if you don't want to make any noise. And it really does help. It really makes a big difference. So when you're playing, and this is your fulcrum point, my fulcrum point is pretty strong. What you can do with your fulcrum point is you can take a pencil. Like when I was in school, I used to take a pencil and I would just squeeze it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I would just keep doing it with the pencil. And I would do it until I got to maybe, I don't know, 200-300 or something like that. And then I'd take a break, and the whole time the class is going and nobody knows what you're doing. It's not bothering anybody. But it helps to build your fulcrum point, and then there ends up being a little muscle right here that ends up building up, and it helps you to hold your stick. So my fulcrum point is pretty strong. However, again, when I get clammy and when I start playing, I start sweating. Lots of times when the sweat rolls down your elbow and straight onto your hand. Some tennis players, I'm a tennis player, so sometimes I'll put like a legging or something, and I'll put it right here. There's some guys that are on tour that do the same thing, and it keeps the sweat from rolling down into their grip on the tennis racket. So again, you can do the same thing for your drumstick. Keep the sweat from dripping to your hand, and put notches in the drumstick, and then sandpaper it, and you're good to go. It helps you out a lot. It really, really will make a difference. It's one of those things where you think that it's nothing, but I promise you, once you start doing it, you'll never go back. I'm actually surprised that stick manufacturers don't do that already. A lot of guys, like I say, put sandpaper, but they don't think about putting the notches in there. And the notches are real important. I like to play match grip most of the time now, but sometimes I'll still play traditional. And when I play traditional, you're actually holding the stick. You're holding the stick. This is the fulcrum point, but then you're holding the stick between the center of the other 4 fingers. So when you do that, you kind of have like a multi-purpose grip. You know, it's a little bit more difficult for it to fall out of your hand, but it's still nice to be able to not slip from the urethane, and to put a few notches there as well. That should help you out quite a bit, especially for guys like me, tend to be a little bit clammy and your stick tries to fall out of your hand, especially when you're playing pretty hard. When I was on tour, I played with 2B drumsticks. As a matter of fact, at the end of the tour, I would send my cymbals off to Zildjian for replacement, and they would say, "What in the world? You know, there was like 40 cymbals here." It's because I was playing with 2B drumsticks, and I was like, you know, I was way up here with my snare hitting really hard, and so they didn't like me at the end of the tour, but they replaced them. They're a great company. So anyway, I hope that helps you out a lot, and I should see you on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you then. Bye.